Oh, we're live. This is a really, I'm very excited to talk to you about this movie.
Is the stream actually working?
It is working. You know why?
Wow.
Because during the day, there's like too many people streaming because YouTube hasn't. And of course, I'm a smaller YouTube channel, so I get choked off. You know, normally when I get choked off, I want to have a happy ending.
Okay.
Okay, just saying. I mean, just saying. I mean, I know. Are you excited to talk about this movie?
I am
excited. You liked it. You'd never seen it before.
No, I had never seen it before.
This is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Wait, you didn't get the figures out.
No, I didn't get the figures out.
Oh, come on.
Look,
man.
I can't always get the figures out. It also would scare me to have the figures out.
What? You know? Oh, come on.
Come on, don't argue with me now. You got to get your mind on the film. Mind on the film. We're going to talk about one of my favorite movies of all time here. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. It is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, and your sommelier of cinema. That said, you're not here for me. You're here for this lovely creature right here. And far be it for me, the floor is yours.
I am Elysabeth Gwendolyn Belle, the ace, the arbiter of cinematic excellence, and the enchantress of entertainment. The enchantress of entertainment. And I tell you, this movie we're talking about tonight is one of the most entertaining movies I've ever seen, as far as my own sensibilities are concerned. Yes.
George Romero's 1978, but it's really not 1978. It's really 1979.
Why is that?
Well, because it did play festivals in Europe. By the way, I can't, until I'm reading, I shouldn't wear this. But it didn't really open until 1979 in the United States.
I see.
It's kind of like Superman 2. Superman 2 came out in 1981 in June, unless you lived in Australia where it came out in 1980.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, for Timbula the Spider Monkey, yeah, Superman 2 came out in 80, but it really came out in 81. So if you're the Italian version of Timbula the Spider Monkey, Dawn of the Dead came out in 78, but really it came out in 79.
Okay. Thanks for that explanation, babe.
Well, you're welcome. And I before we get started, we have to have wine. And not only do we have wine, I'm very excited about this wine.
I am too.
This wine comes to us from Julius Goodwin,
yes,
the official sommelier of the Burnettwork.
Yes.
Who enrolled us in the Knocking Point Wine Club.
Yep.
And they have kind of a very interesting, we just got this today, the 11 o'clock number.
You might want to change the camera angle.
Oh, yeah, right. That's right. I'm so overzealous. Let's change the camera angle. So thanks to Julius Goodwin, we have the 11 o'clock number, and this is a whole Broadway-themed kind of it came with a faux playbill.
Yes,
it came with
did.
The playbill that you get at
yeah, I thought that was very cool.
Very cool. So very much a Broadway-themed wine. It's a 50% Cab and a 50% Malbec.
Ooh.
It's a blend.
It's a blend.
Well, allow me to pour it up for you.
Pour it up, babe.
Pour up the blend.
I have to say, this has a pretty high alcohol content.
Which is what we want, especially talking about zombies. Does it really have a high alcohol content?
Yeah, it's like 14.9.
14.9? Oh my God. That's going to be one heck of a... We'll have one rollicking conversation about this movie.
Plus, you've already had some wine today.
Yeah, not really. That was a while ago. I want to say, though, that I would be remiss if, once again, I need to point out that my beloved Second Sight video in the UK, home video, Second Sight Films, I just call them Second Sight, one of the great boutique home video labels of all time, put out this bad boy. This is the 4K Dawn of the Dead box set. It also is out in Blu-ray. They made 6,000 of each. There are only 400 left of either one. I mean, this might be one of the greatest physical media collections of all. Books, soundtracks, 3 different versions of Dawn of the Dead. This, to me, is the pinnacle of physical media. And Dawn of the Dead is a movie I probably bought. Maybe I bought Star Wars more, but I bought more copies of Dawn of the Dead than any other film I've owned. And this, my friends, is the end of the road. There will never, ever, 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 ever be a better version of Dawn of the Dead, or 3 versions, the can cut, or the longer version, the theatrical version, and the Argento European version. For those of you who are wondering, we watched the theatrical version of this film.
I really appreciate your enthusiasm of jumping right in, but I would really like to try this wine.
It's your show. Let's drink the wine, shall we? Cheers to this movie. Cheers to George A. Romero's magnum opus, Dawn of the Dead. And here's to the arbiter of cinematic excellence that you are. Hopefully, I'm going to get a good verdict from you. No pressure, by the way. I'm not trying to pressure your opinion about this movie.
Well, you'll see. You'll see my.
If I stop talking, I might.
I know. Yeah, you're really jabbering, aren't you?
Ooh. This is rather delightful. What do you think?
Ooh.
It's pretty good, right?
Yeah, this is nice.
It's really nice, of course.
I really like it.
Now, we've always been accused of liking every bottle of wine that we... Oh, look at that. You take 2 sips. Mm-hmm. You're already deep in.
I'm in.
Deep into your trough of wine.
I didn't have wine earlier today.
Why do you have to point out that I did? I was drinking wine for my show, and then, of course, my show got just rudely taken away from me.
So you just continued drinking it?
Well, I need to drown my sorrows not doing the show. So anyway, this film, we could call it a sequel, although I like to think of it more as a continuation of the world George Romero created in 1968's seminal Night of the Living Dead, which is, of course, one of the most famous horror films. I think it really ushered in a new era of horror. Mm-hmm. Stephen King's novels and really Night of the Living Dead brought in, the horror is in your neighborhood or in your farmhouse, or it was a movie that came out during the height of the Vietnam War. A lot of people talk about the post-Vietnam War horror films like Texas Chainsaw and the slasher genre, but I think Night of the Living Dead dealt with racial issues, the fact that one of the main characters is a black man who turns out to be the hero that, of course, gets killed by the white cops at the end, mistaken for a zombie. George Romero continues those. So in 78, he had made a number of films. He made Season of the Witch. There's always Vanilla. Martin, the great vampire movie Martin, that John Amplas, who stars as Martin, was in this movie. Mm-hmm. He cast this movie and he played the Puerto Rican gunman at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
So Romero brought back his merry band of players to make this movie, which he wrote in Italy at the behest of Dario Argento. They talked about Alfredo Cuomo and Dario Argento. They were partners. We're going to finance this movie. Gave the seed money, and they said, "Come to Italy and come write this movie."
Wow!
So he wrote the screenplay in Italy, and it was.
Does Italy inspire vampire stories? I guess. I mean, not vampire. Zombie.
Well, I think Europe. I mean, there is
vampires, but zombies.
I mean, there are great European zombie films like the Manchester, the John Rowland's Living Dead Girl. There's so many. The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue, George Grau's movie that also came out on Blu-ray this past year. So there's been a lot of zombie films, but they're mostly inspired. Modern zombie films were really inspired by Night of the Living Dead, and then Dawn of the Dead is probably one of the most imitated.
Well, I see how much this influenced The Walking Dead.
Oh, well, Kirkman, basically his story is set in the same universe.
Absolutely.
As Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
So for me, I have to tell the story of how I first saw this movie.
Okay.
So I had heard about Night of the Living Dead, but I hadn't seen Night of the Living Dead. And because of Fangoria magazine, actually Fangoria magazine had not come out when I saw this movie. And oops.
Is that the bottle that you?
There's so many bottles in here. So I actually had bought the novelization of this movie from the Science Fiction Book Club. The hardcover by George Romero and Susanna Sparrow, and I read the book. I read the novelization before I saw the film. And I couldn't believe it because I loved horror novels, and I was 12. And I couldn't believe the hells of pop and violence. I'm like, this is amazing. There's no way. And then I found out it was a movie. It's based on the film or whatever. And when the movie came out, when it was coming out, we had a radio station in Seattle called KYYX. KYYX Seattle. You know, actually that was KJR Seattle Channel 95. That was AM. KYYX was FM, and they gave away tickets to a Thursday night midnight show of this movie. Oh. And it was one of those things, if you're the 8th caller, if you're the first caller, so I would sit there and dial the numbers, and then when they said
you were 12.
I was 12.
And they gave you the tickets?
Of course they did. So I hit the button, and I was like the first caller, and I won tickets to this movie. I won tickets.
They weren't like, how old are you, kid?
No, they weren't. And what was interesting was this movie was actually under 17, not admitted. It was unrated.
So how could they give you the tickets? That's
They didn't
insane.
care because it's a radio station. It's KYYX. So here's the thing.
Wow.
I was so excited. My parents were like, you're not going to a midnight movie on a school night. And I was like, but Dad, I won the tickets. Nope, because they would have to take me to the movie theater. So
pick you up at 2 a.m.
My parents knew that I was like when I had a movie I wanted to see, I was like a dog with a bone. You know, with this Logan's Run, I talked about it for weeks. My mom's like, okay, opening nights here, Star Wars, same thing. Well, Dawn of the Dead was it. I had to see this movie. So my dad said, okay, we're not going to take you to the midnight show, but I'll take you to the Friday night show. And it was like an 8 o'clock show. But it's still under 17, not admitted.
Well, how did he get you in?
So it was at the UA 70 that was connected to the UA 150 where I saw Star Wars and Alien, my favorite theater. But the UA 70 was the smaller theater adjacent.
So wait, what did you do with the free tickets?
Had to let them go. Didn't get used.
Did they give them to somebody else?
Nope. Because I begged my parents, and I was too embarrassed to call the radio station and say,
dude, that's so rude.
I know.
Someone else could have seen that movie.
I wasn't going to let someone else see my movie. If I couldn't go, no one could go.
Anyway.
I didn't know that. I was 12. It was hard enough. I had to drag my poor grandfather to see Alien months before, whose first wife of 40 years had just died. What do you kids want to do this weekend? I'm like, Grandpa, I want to see Alien.
Oh my God.
My grandfather's like, okay. He didn't know. And I wasn't about to let a grieving widower like himself not take me to Alien.
Wow.
So anyway, I'm telling you, dog with a bone, you're not going to keep me from my movies. So my dad takes me, and he walks me up to the box office, and he lied. He said his mom's already inside. Like, yeah, right. Like, my mom's going to be excited to see Dawn of the Dead. So my dad lies to the people at the box office.
Oh, he didn't even take you in.
No, he just took me up and bought my ticket, said my mom was inside, and they escorted me in. So I get in there, and it was a very sparsely attended screening.
So did you sit next to whatever?
I sat next to, like, a couple. Like some college-age boyfriend and girlfriend, and I proceeded before the movie started to tell them everything I could remember about the novelization, all the cool violence.
Oh, you ruined it!
I didn't tell them the plot. You're not going to believe it. There's head explosions, and people get eaten. It's going to be amazing. And they loved it. Like, they loved this little 12-year-old kid because there was nobody else that was my age in the theater. And I'm just like, and they loved it. And when the guy kept turning over to me, go, fuck, that was awesome, dude. Like, the head explodes. Oh, my God, because no one had ever seen anything like it before. And they're like, you weren't lying. And I'm like, I would never lie about it. Come on, man. So, and when I saw this movie...
Oh, man.
I mean, this film was one of those times where I'd read the book, and I thought to myself, well, how good can it be? This movie exceeded any expectations I have. I couldn't believe it. And there is no peen or boobage in this film at all.
Well,
except
there's
one scene.
There's boobs.
Which, by the way, I have to say, to be quite honest, Galen Ross's boob, her nipple, you could never see until this 4K disc. I was very surprised. I've seen this movie over 100 times. I'm like, oh, I've never seen Galen Ross's nipple until tonight.
Oh, so it's not in the...
Well, it is, but you couldn't see it because of the shadow. And in home video, it's just a blob. Now you can see the definition of her areola in the movie.
Oh, yeah, you definitely see her.
I'd never seen it before until last night. So thank you, Second Sight. 40-year-old boobage, which, never goes out of style. So the real question is, Elysabeth.
Yes, Robert.
What did you... Now you've heard my waxing rhapsodic. What did you think...
You want me to tell you the story of how the first time I've seen this movie?
You said you'd never seen it before.
It was last night.
Oh.
Snuggling up with the dogs.
Not me.
Tallulah barking. We had to quiet her down. It was hard work. And then we had to pause it so we could walk them. Late at night when all the real zombies come out.
And the coyotes, which we were
coyotes.
confronted by the other night.
Right, but not last night.
Not last night.
And no zombies either. So there you go.
Okay, so that's how you saw the movie. But what did you think of the film? I mean,
are we going to talk about you already want my opinion of the film?
Well, yeah, like everyone knows what this movie's about. Like it's not like what I'm curious about is when the story began to unfold.
Yeah, okay.
How did it strike you?
So the beginning was I was a little annoyed.
In the TV station?
No, the TV station was fine. I got it. Like they were panicking. There's a zombie,
Well, the TV station scene in the beginning of this movie is a microcosm for the rest of civilized society. It's all literally falling apart.
Yeah. The whole thing's falling apart. They're panicking. Everyone's like going crazy and doing crazy things.
Every dead body that is not exterminated gets up and kills. The people it kills get up and kill.
I think you know every line in this film.
I do. I could recite this. I could do a radio play by myself for this movie.
So, but then it cuts to a SWAT team going into this apartment building, and
the people of 107 will do what you wish now.
I honestly don't even know why they went in there. Obviously, the people were like blocking off the apartment building because it was infested with zombies. I think they were doing a pretty good job of quarantining.
Well,
so why even go in there is my question.
Well, I will tell you, because the same guy that they're interviewing on the talk show says that specially equipped troops of the National Guard are going to be in charge of dealing with this situation.
Okay.
And what they wanted to show you was in an urban environment where what's happening, and like in a tenement building, a lower economic level tenement building where people still believe there's respect in dying. I mean, they're trying to, like, these are good people, salt of the earth people, and they are trying to deal with things in their own way and still maintaining their belief system.
But they were doing a good job.
Well,
So my question is, why even invade that apartment building?
Well,
and
because
why that apartment building?
Okay, I think that apartment building was a microcosm of many apartment buildings. It was supposed to be the every apartment building, but what they were showing you was how quickly things spiral out of control.
Okay,
I
get that, but still, it was like that part was like I don't understand why.
Well, I think it's the second half of showing the fall of civilization.
Okay, I get all your deep philosophical ideas about it.
They're not mine. This is in the text, babe. It's not my reading of the film.
I just didn't. I was like, I don't know why they even have to do this.
Because they show a head explosion.
They show
people get.
But there were zombies. There were zombies already out. Why attack this?
By the way, you haven't seen any zombies in the movie until then.
Right.
And what they had to do was show you we saw zombies 10 years ago in Night of the Living Dead in a graveyard and in a farm in the rural.
Right.
But this movie was showing you what happens when there are zombies in an apartment building.
Okay, I get all that. I'm just telling you. For a minute there, I was like, I don't understand why they're doing this.
Okay, but what did you think about the extreme violence on display in that scene?
I felt like a lot of some of the characters were being dumb. Like they were not like looking away, not paying attention, and going into spaces that they knew there were zombies, and then not even like having their weapon drawn, and then struggling with the weapon. It just seemed like, okay.
Well, because people are coming to grips with the situation they find themselves in. It's not like we watched 10 seasons of The Walking Dead and know how to handle it.
If I was going into a building knowing there were zombies in there.
Yeah, but they didn't. They don't know what they're... They kind of know, but they don't really know. They don't really grasp what's going on. And the whole point is that the television station scene is trying to explain, look, we have to deal with this situation. And the point is that we were incapable of it. Mankind was not equipped to deal with the onslaught of the undead. We still want to believe. It's like the woman who sees her husband.
Yeah, but come on,
and
man.
Comes out.
You're going to go into, there are living dead in there and that they will attack you. So you're going to go in and not even pay attention to what you're doing?
But there's a whole apartment building of people that are offering armed resistance.
But then one guy was like shooting. It didn't matter if they were like living people or dead people.
That's because he went nuts. That was Wooly.
He went nuts.
You was in Wooly's unit, wasn't you?
That guy was crazy.
Yes, he went nuts because the situation that they found themselves in, that's how, there was many ways of dealing with it.
So you had both extremes. Like you had one guy going crazy and another guy like not even paying attention to what's going on.
Well, that's right, because you're dealing with civilians and you're dealing with, no one had ever dealt with this.
Once we got past that, then I really got into the movie.
Okay, now why did you really get into the movie?
Because then it got interesting after that.
You mean it wasn't interesting already?
It was confusing and it was frustrating. I was frustrated that people were acting the way they were.
But it was supposed to be confusing because the situation was confusing. The world had become confusing.
Okay, I can buy that. It still annoyed me a little bit. Not a lot, just a little.
And so we have our 4 characters.
I liked the guy without the leg, though. He was pretty cool and creepy.
You mean the priest?
The priest.
Yeah. Well, when the dead walk, senores, we must stop the killing. Or lose the war. Come on.
Yeah. I liked him.
The people of 107 will do what you wish now. When the dead walk, senores, soon I think they be stronger than you. Come on.
Nice, babe.
I can tell you, I can do this whole movie if you want. The radio, we could do the Elysabeth's radio show, Dawn of the Dead. And I'll just perform every
every line.
Yeah, I could.
All right. So we move on now.
Givens wants them.
So 2 members of the SWAT team.
Well, first we meet Fran and we meet Steven.
Oh, that's true. That's in the first scene.
Yeah, and so Fran is a TV producer.
Yeah.
And she's at they work for WGON TV. Mm-hmm. And they work for WGON, and Steven is their helicopter pilot for the station.
He's their traffic
reporter. Or if they have news stories. So Steven is also Fran's lover and the father of her child that we don't know yet, but she's pregnant.
Yeah, we don't know that yet.
And Steven's like, don't make me come looking for you. Come up to the roof and we're going to get the hell out of here.
Right.
And they're also going to meet Roger. Roger is their SWAT team member friend, played by Scott Reiniger.
Oh, so they were already friends before.
They were friends before, so Steven and Fran are going to go pick up Roger at the docks where they're going to meet and take Roger with them. And we meet Roger during the SWAT assault of this tenement. And in that SWAT assault, we meet Ken Foray as Peter, the very handsome Nubian prince black man SWAT officer that he is, who has the great voice.
Yes.
You just
wonderful.
ain't in here by yourself, boy. So good. You was in Willie's unit, wasn't you? I didn't see nothing.
Oh my God.
I didn't see how he died. By the way, I just want to point out that I work with Ken Foray. Well, I didn't. I didn't work with him. I worked on the same project with him.
Which was
with
what?
Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. And you can hear the whole story of how he taught me an important lesson about Hollywood if you go listen to one of the very first Observations episodes. But that's not important.
I've heard all your stories, so I'm sure I know it.
You could probably know it. So Roger has met Peter and brought Peter along. And they talk about running out. I could run. I could run right tonight. My friend's got this helicopter. I mean, come on. So they go meet, and they the WGON helicopter. So now there's our 4 characters.
Yes, 4 people in the helicopter.
There's Fran, Steven, Roger, and Peter.
Right.
And they are in the WGON helicopter. And what's interesting is where are they going to go?
Yeah, where are they going to go?
Well, that's one of the interesting things about the movie is like, where are they going to go?
They don't know.
They don't really know.
But you're safer in the air than
Were they going to go to Harrisburg? Passed it about an hour ago. Just saying. But they get in the helicopter and they start flying. And
where did they start off? Was it Philadelphia?
Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
I mean, but maybe it's Philadelphia because you don't really know. I mean, the movies
they end up in Pittsburgh, but I don't think they start in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's probably true because they flew a long way across Pennsylvania.
They did because
so they had
if they passed Harrisburg, if they were already in Pittsburgh and then landed in Pittsburgh, they wouldn't go past Harrisburg.
No, because they wind up about 45 minutes outside of Pittsburgh at the Monroeville Mall.
Okay, anyway, I think they start off in Philadelphia.
Probably. It's probably true. Because there's a big building. You're probably right about that.
I used to live in Philadelphia.
So they're in Philly, the city of brotherly love, unless you're a zombie where you love everybody. And so, and what's really interesting is as they are traversing the land, they fly across where these rednecks are probably enjoying this whole thing.
Yeah, that's what they say. Because they're like just in the fields, doing target practice with the
I
zombies.
think, I have to say, from a filmmaking perspective, one of the reasons I love this movie is because even though it was made for about $500,000, maybe more, but for very little money. Now it's unbelievable what they made this movie for. But it really gives you a sense of scope. I think by starting in the chaos of the TV studio and then going to the SWAT assault on the tenement, it feels big. And you really get a sense of civilization collapsing. When the helicopter's flying and it flies, you see the National Guard come in. Everybody's having a good time. This situation's manageable.
Yeah.
We're taking pictures, But look over there by the old car. We're going to kill the zombies. We're going to handle this.
Literally target practice with the zombies.
Got him.
Yeah.
Missed. I mean, it's yes. So how did you feel about that? Like getting into this movie from a narrative standpoint, how did you feel about the fact that the way the movie unfolds and how you put the four characters together and then they're off on their odyssey?
Yeah, I found it exciting. I mean, I happen to love zombie movies and shows. So.
Okay, let me ask you this. Why? By the way, not to put you on the spot, because I do think there's something very compelling, but why do you love them?
I don't know. I just think it's fascinating to think that a virus or something could cause a dead person to come alive and come after people, and then it's so
they kill for one reason. They kill for food.
Yeah, and
they eat their victims, Mr. Berman. That's what keeps them going.
It spreads so quickly, and it's so hard to avoid being eaten by a zombie and becoming one yourself. I find that fascinating, and I think you can tell some really interesting stories with that.
And also, I mean, the reason that I think I gravitated to this film was I've talked a lot about on Robservations and on shows that the loss of civility, the loss of civilization is something that scares me the most.
Yeah.
I can deal with slashers or serial killers. That doesn't bother me. But the idea that and maybe it's because I was raised as a Jewish kid, when you were learning when I was younger and I was learning about Nazi Germany and what happened, and the idea that there were families, even though they were Jewish families, but they were families that had been in Germany for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Old established families, and one day the government, first of all, taxed their businesses out of existence, and then knocked on your door and said, "We don't recognize you as citizens or human beings anymore. Come with us. We're taking your house
and all your possessions.
Everything that belongs to you, and it's ours." And the idea that scared me. That scares me the most. And I see the whole zombie genre as metaphorically, that's what it is. It's the loss of civility. It's the loss of our humanity. And you cannot reason with zombies. You cannot say, but this is my wife and my child. They don't care. They just will eat you anyway.
Yeah.
There's no, and I see that's what happened in Nazi Germany. You had all these good families and communities that were strong and old. They'd been there for a long time, entrenched, and they were dehumanized. They were turned into zombies. The Jews were the zombies to the Nazis. They're going to come and lurch, and they're inhuman, and they're going to come steal your everything about you. So they must be exterminated. Now, in the zombie analogy, obviously they are inhuman, but the idea that there's one group of human beings that can be demonized and turned into non-humans which is what's happening now in our country. It's not as far along, but we are at a situation where you have one side dehumanizing the other, We literally have factions in our country that are dehumanized. And once you're there, once you have dehumanized someone, you are lost. I mean, that's where the end
I see more of a connection with the pandemic. We have to hide away from each other because of this virus.
Yes, but the people, like, you can't hide from the zombies. They'll eventually find you. They'll come knocking on your door. In a pandemic, people run away from each other.
Right. Well, you're running away from the zombies.
But they're coming after you. The great thing in a pandemic is both sides want to be as far away from each other as possible.
Except people aren't.
Well, that's because they're stupid. They're already zombies.
Exactly.
Which is what Romero goes to goes to later in the film. He goes on to commentate or make commentary about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just an aside. So our characters, you see them land to get gas. You see that children are zombies as well.
I love seeing children zombies. I love children zombies.
Why do you love why?
It blows my mind to think that a child can become a zombie. Of course they can. And for a while, my best friend and I, Julia, we wanted to
have zombie kids.
Yeah, no, we wanted to write a story about zombie babies. Because, like, that's the most horrific thing you could possibly come up with. A baby that is a zombie.
That would eat its way out of its mother.
Yeah, right? Creepy.
I mean, when you're an adult, you eat your way in. But when you're a baby zombie, you eat your way out.
Right? Baby zombies.
Well, they did that in the remake.
There were baby zombies?
There was a baby zombie that's a woman that has in her stomach.
Oh, my God. It's already been done.
Yeah, it's been done.
Damn.
Everything to do with zombie. For whatever reason, the zombie genre was sort of moribund, and then it exploded. You know, Robert Kirkman's The Walking Dead comic came along, and it became a huge.
We were inundated with the zombie movies, zombie shows. It's kind of chilled out a little bit now, but there's still zombie.
Yes, because I think the idea that your fellow human beings, the idea that they can turn on you at any time is always compelling.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. How did you feel about the actors in the film?
I loved the actors. I thought they were great.
They are great.
Yeah.
And they're all basically unknowns. And they all inhabit their roles.
They do.
I mean, what I find really interesting about this film is, aside from the zombies themselves, the gray, blue makeup, especially in this version, I've always said every fantasy film gets one big ask of the audience.
Yeah.
And this movie, the ask is the zombies themselves. And I think this movie, as the viceroy of verisimilitude, the rest of the movie has a lot of verisimilitude in it.
Right.
And one of the reasons I feel like you're watching almost a documentary.
I mean, I didn't hate the way the zombies looked. I mean, when people die, they basically turn blue.
Right.
So that didn't bother me. And it didn't bother me that some of them were more blue than others, because maybe they became a zombie earlier than
they're
the
rotting.
other zombies. Yeah, it didn't bother me at all, actually.
No, and then the violence is, I mean...
Well, there's one scene where I just couldn't even watch.
Which we'll get to, because that happens. And the thing is, they do escalate. What I do like about this film, I mean, from the very beginning, when they go into the tenement building, Wooly kicks open a door and famously blows a guy's head off. Right. And it's one of the great head explosions. There's only one other head explosion that's better in any movie than the gunshot head explosion in this movie. And that's, of course, everyone knows. Say it with me now. What movie? Scanners. Scanners has the first greatest head explosion in a movie. This movie has the second. But until Cronenberg made Scanners...
I don't think have I seen Scanners?
I don't think you have. We haven't watched Scanners.
Is it a zombie movie also?
No, it's about telepaths.
Oh.
Yes, but it has a head explosion scene that's the best head explosion because it has more weight to it. This head explosion scene is it's so explosive, but really the head explosion in Scanners blows apart and it all comes down like a melon because there's weight. It's the best. I know, right? You're already. That's why it's the best head explosion scene. No better head explosion scene ever in any movie. So then our characters, after they refuel and they almost get, there's the kid zombies, and there's two of the most classic zombies ever, which is the one zombie that's coming in that almost gets Peter until Steven starts shooting at him, which is the
and almost hits Peter, and Peter's pissed at
Peter's
this point.
pissed.
Like,
you never aim a gun at anyone, Mister.
well, okay,
Scary,
I have to say,
isn't
Steven is a terrible, terrible shot. He cannot aim worth shit. And they tell him that.
He is kind of the doofus of the movie.
He's such a doofus.
He's even got doofus hair.
Yeah, he's
got that really thin hair that like that's sniveling. He's your sniveling. He's sniveling. He is.
Yeah.
But he's Fran's lover. You know, he's the father.
Yeah. Okay. When we get to this part,
and he's one of those guys that he thinks he's way cooler than he really is because he can fly a helicopter.
Right. He thinks he's cool, but this guy, like, come on. He makes stupid mistakes. He's such an idiot.
But that's why he's great.
Right.
Because he's again peak verisimilitude, Steven.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a doofus.
He is a doofus. But his doofusness is great for the movie.
Yeah. I don't know what she saw in him and why she would.
Well, because, she's a tough, career-minded woman.
She's really intelligent.
He's a helicopter
She's
pilot.
Tough. She doesn't want anyone to tell her what to do.
She doesn't know he's a doofus yet.
She's having his baby.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's having his baby because she thought he had it going on. But when the world comes to an end...
It's true, because when he asks her to marry him, she's like, this is not the time.
No, she says it wouldn't be real. It wouldn't be real.
Here's your ring.
Yeah, because it's like, right now.
You're a doofus, and I know you're going to die, so...
No, she doesn't know he's going to die, but she knows he's a doofus.
Yeah, because he... When they're first in the mall, instead of, like, protecting her, he goes down into the mall to see what the other guys are doing.
Well, but what's great about...
They are SWAT. Like, he does not need to be...
But he feels inadequate. That's part of the...
Then he should be protecting his...
But he's got to... He feels also that he has to be more alpha male, so he's going to go down with the SWAT guys. I mean, that's one of the great things about this film, and why He
can't even aim.
But this is one of my, like... It's in my top 5 of all time. This movie, I cannot tell you how much I love this movie. And the reason being, for a low budget zombie horror film, this film has so much going on. It's about so many different things. It's so well made. And it's an editing tour de force.
Yeah.
This movie does not look, despite the fact that it was shot like 16 millimeter, it does not look like that. I mean, Michael Gornick's photography, everything about this movie. If they had made this movie for $100 million and like could spend time lighting this movie, it wouldn't have been better. They couldn't have made this movie better with $100 million.
I agree. I think it's great.
And what's so great about it is the way it presents the whole situation. You believe it. You do believe it. Now I will say it's a lot harder in the wake of The Walking Dead with CG animated corpses where you can have green screen holes in people's chests. But this movie...
but the first season it was not.
But this movie's 41 years old, 42 years old if you saw it in Italy. But this movie's 41 years old now. And for what it accomplishes, it's amazing. So you have to...
I found it very believable.
It is.
I loved that they went to a mall.
Well, and again, we heard in one of the interviews on the Blu-ray, Romero talks about he knew the owners of the Monroeville Mall, and malls were new. In the 70s,
and
indoor malls.
The seed for the idea was the idea that there would be a group of people that had everything they needed all in one place.
Right, and he didn't know what that was yet.
Right, until his friend just opened a mall.
Just opened the Monroeville Mall.
And he started writing the script before he even asked if they could film there. Which I thought was amazing.
In Italy.
His wife was like, why are you doing this? You don't even know if they're going to let you film there.
It's kind of like when Roger says, why do these people keep them here? And Peter says, because they still believe there's respect in dying. They didn't know either. I'm just saying. So they get to a mall. Now what's really interesting is this movie came out in 79. Malls were new. Yeah. The idea of shopping malls were new. And one of the things that Romero talked about is that when he was taking a tour of the mall, they really had civil defense facilities in the well, not the attic, but in the top of the mall. There were shelters that were there already with civil defense, with rations and everything, and he incorporated everything that he learned into his script.
Yeah.
And so they land on this mall.
They do. They land. There's even a helicopter pad on the top of the mall.
Right.
They land there, and their idea is just to get a few supplies and move on. But once they discover that there's this whole top floor that's for that purpose, they start exploring and decide.
Well, first they go in to get their supplies.
They do. And they find boxes and boxes of like Spam.
I need lighter fluid. You got it. So they go, yeah, they find. And she's like, Spam. And then Roger says, don't knock it. It's got its own key. Come on. I mean, you know,
it's got its own key.
It's got its own key. I tell you, I can quote this whole movie.
I know you can, babe.
It's just,
I know you
I
can.
I can't tell you what this means to me, Second Sight. Oh, you have no idea. And by the way, you did not let me down. Thank you, Richard Rubenstein, for finally allowing someone access to your original negative elements. Oh, boy. That's a commercial. The other day, they only had... Oh, you know what? I don't want my face grease on the box. It's got to be mint. Got to keep it.
Wow.
You know how it is.
I do.
I mean, they don't make a nice vinyl sleeve for this yet.
I mean, you purposely didn't pull out the action figures because you didn't want me to touch them.
Well, no, they're actually over there. They're just hard to get to.
Sad, because what are the action figures you have?
Well, it's Steven at the end when he's with the gun in his finger and the blood, and it's the plaid zombie, the one that almost kills Peter. It's 2-pack, but it's only 1/12 scale. It's not 1/6 scale.
Oh.
They're small.
Oh, they're small.
Yeah. Well, they're not. You know, they're like this 6 scale.
Still.
I mean, at 12 scale. Anyway, so they get to the mall, and they decide to hole up.
They decide this is a good place to be.
Now, for you, what's really interesting over the last 40 years. Like, when this movie came out, malls were new. Not a lot of people had malls around the country.
It's true.
But now watching it, what did you say about this movie? That's like your dream.
I would totally love to, like, take over a mall. Could you imagine? You would have to, like, pace yourself and not allow yourself to go into every store, like, right away.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Right? You could have anything you want. Anything you want.
And in this mall, as Romero points out in that interview, they had taverns that were open till 2 in the morning, which were problematic for filming.
Right.
They had a whole gun store, an ice skating rink. I mean, they had everything.
Ice skating rink. Can you imagine your own ice skating rink?
They had a hair salon. They had everything.
They had everything, anything you could imagine, you could have. Be great. You could have a new outfit every single day. For the rest of your life.
Well, I mean, and again, that's part of what this movie's about. I mean, it's the dismantling of society, and isn't it interesting that the one thing that stands in the face of the opposition of the zombie hordes is this giant shopping mall that stands up for American consumerism. Even in the apocalypse, my God, you can still go to JCPenney shopping.
And there's a bank there, and it's like the money's not even valuable anymore, right?
As Peter says, you never know.
You never know. They take a bunch of money and they just they play poker every night. Like once they
sorry, that's the music.
Once they clear out the mall, it's like they've got it good for a little while.
They do.
They got it good.
Well, no,
they even like set up an apartment up in the upper
with really high end audio equipment. Like I love the scene when the stylist comes down. It's like a Bang & Olufsen stylist, and they put on the music.
Yeah, they got it good.
But again, what's really, really interesting is in the face of societal collapse, they land in this mall and they clean it out.
They do.
You know?
They get rid of all the zombies. They block all the doors. And Roger, is it Roger? he is now like he thinks he's like the hottest thing.
Yeah.
He's like a hot shot now, and he is not paying attention and just being crazy. And of course, what happens?
Yeah, I mean, adrenaline and the situation. So that they're going to block the entrances to the mall with these, and it's a great scene, and it's a tense scene. It's scary.
It's so tense.
It's tense when they have to block off each of the entrances to the mall with these semi trucks while evading the zombies.
Yeah.
And Roger loses his cool.
He does.
Steven's flying in the helicopter, air support, and then Peter and Roger are in the trucks, and Roger's able to hotwire the trucks.
Yep.
And he loses his cool and he gets bit.
Yeah, he thinks he's like a hotshot and that he's invincible, and he starts making huge mistakes. And yes, he gets bit twice, once on the arm and once on the leg.
I've seen half a dozen guys get bitten by those things. None of them lasted more than
3 days.
3 days. So you know the outlines too.
I do. A few.
So there you go. So and now you're watching this, and what's really interesting is they're trying to reestablish normality in this mall.
They are.
I mean, they're trying to rebuild the civilization that was falling apart that they left behind. And they get rid of the zombies. They get them out.
Well, there's comfort in what you know. So, of course, you're going to set up an apartment and you're going to,
But, I mean, metaphorically, you could say that, well, those zombies are immigrants. They're minorities. You could say that they're any undesirable group of people. And we've got our nice little suburban environment here in the mall. We're going to clean it up of all of you people. And look, we've created the perfect society. We have everything that we want now. And they don't have any other people. But there's many layers of stuff going on in this movie. And it turns out what happens.
Is this like 40 years worth of people
Yes,
analyzing?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I'm having a hard time connecting that idea.
Well, it's just one of many.
Because the zombies, I mean, I would hate to be referred to as the child of immigrants. I would hate to be.
Look, there's not a normal
equated
reading
with zombies.
Look, please let me be clear. I wasn't saying that. I was just saying that you could look at the zombie masses, the zombie hordes, or anybody else, call them anything you want. American middle class society. Now it's interesting because Peter is black, but. What you're trying to do is create normalcy in the wake of this onslaught of the other. Let's call zombies the other. However you want to read it. It wasn't necessarily there, but what they're trying to do is rebuild their society that they left. And they're trying to get rid of any undesirables.
They're undesirable because they're dangerous,
well, yes,
and they have a virus that can turn you into one of them.
Okay, but let's build a wall between us and Mexico because they're undesirables. You could look at it,
but they're not zombies.
But
I just don't see the connection.
Zombies are a metaphor. They're just a metaphor.
Yeah, but not really. They're zombies.
I'm just saying, there's ways to look at this movie. You don't have to buy into it.
I don't buy into that.
But anyway, they are trying. You would admit, though, that they are trying to recreate society.
But they're trying to feel normal,
right? Exactly.
In a world that's like completely fallen apart,
right? But
just like we're trying to feel normal, being locked up at home.
And what are we missing? We're missing the malls. We're missing.
The mall.
We're missing the malls.
I miss the mall.
But that's so. 40 years later, Dawn of the Dead is just as relevant as it was in '79 when it came out, because we all want to be. We might as well be in a post. The zombies are the people with COVID. You call it what you want. The zombies were always a metaphor, and we're now living in the post-zombie world, but it's the post-COVID world where we can't. Everything is shuttered. Everything is shuttered. The world has fallen.
It has.
So, I mean, we're living this in a way, but these people invaded a mall. Like, wouldn't it be interesting if we found out that, like, some old
Well, it's so funny. I was thinking, like, if things get really bad, what's the nearest mall that we could take over?
Well, indoor mall. Unfortunately,
the Arcadia Mall.
Yeah, that's a good mall.
That's an awesome mall.
But we wouldn't be the only ones.
There's a huge movie theater there.
Yeah, but we're in a densely populated area. We wouldn't be the only people. It wouldn't be like the four of us.
We could share.
Oh, yeah, until we have little fiefdoms in either part of the mall. You want to come to this? If you want to see the movie theater, you need to give me some, I don't know, Cinnabon.
Well, we would trade.
Yeah, that's what you do.
You'd take over a shop, and then you would trade for things.
I've got corn dogs. Let me in.
Let me in to see the movie.
Yeah, but it'd be the same.
So we would take over the movie theater, huh?
Well, if we were able to get to it first. But then again, the movie theater doesn't have a whole lot of sustenance. The only thing the movie theater has going for it is bathrooms. We have bathrooms.
We have bathrooms.
You want bathrooms? Come talk to us.
We have bathrooms.
2 days ago, I saw a vehicle that hauled
whatever
this
movies
tank
are there, that's what we have.
Yeah, we got all the movies. We got the movies. You want to come watch movies? And we got bathrooms.
And popcorn.
But bathrooms would be the most probably valuable thing.
It would be. We would get food and stuff just trading to use the bathroom.
Yep. But will we have guns? Because people who might have guns, and living in L.A., there'd be somebody that would show up. You know, it is Arcadia after all. A lot of different factions would show up with firearms.
I hate that we would have to have guns.
Well, when you have toilets, you need guns.
To protect your toilets?
That's right. Don't underestimate how crazy people without toilet paper. We've seen what that does to people. Just imagine like upset people with guns in the fall when civilization's falling. I mean, we don't understand how to wipe our asses with leaves in California. What do you got? Cacti? What are you gonna do? You know, people used to use corn cobs. We just got cactus. You got to sit there and pull out the.
Ooh, no.
I know, it's tough.
Yeah.
That's why, we lost our toilet paper so quickly. We saw it. COVID taught us with the zombie pandemic or the zombie.
But here's the thing: the movie theater is near the food court.
Yeah, but that's a bigger area to have to protect. That means you need more people. You need to cut people in. You got to wonder if they're going to be treacherous. It is a post-apocalyptic environment.
A leader.
Yeah, you need the Lord Humongous. The Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, but that's from Road Warrior. It's a different movie, which we have not done on this show yet. So,
there you go.
What are you going to do? So, they're in the mall, and we do watch. I mean, on one hand, they're watching broadcasts. They're hoping something happens, and they're trying to maintain semblance of humanity. Peter makes... and then, of course, Roger gets bitten, and he dies. He succumbs to his... Once you're bitten by a zombie, 3 days max, according to Peter.
And Peter has to shoot him when he turns. It's like an amazing scene. Because he's covered in a blanket. Back. Yeah.
You won't let me walk around like that.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be a zombie. But he knows he's going to be.
He knows.
Yeah, and so the blanket is over his head. He starts stirring, and then Peter...
Maybe, arguably, the greatest cinematic zombie ever. When he turns, his face and his performance...
The makeup was great.
It's Roger.
Roger.
When Roger turns into a zombie, it might be the most classic zombie turning ever. The most tragic zombie turning. The face, the eyes, I mean, it's perfect.
It is perfect.
It's perfect.
Yep. And on the TV is a broadcast of, I don't even know who that guy is, but he's like going on.
Dummies!
That guy.
Richard France, the actor, who was in Night of the Living Dead, who was in There's Always Vanilla. Just saying. And now he has a voiceover career because he was in the Crazies, and he was basically playing the same doctor character. But he pointed out to Romero, "My character died in the Crazies. Oh, you'll get him an eye patch."
So he's a doctor.
Well, in real life.
So the eye patch is supposed to indicate that he lived in the Crazies?
No, he died in the Crazies, but Romero...
So what's the eye patch for?
Romero said, give him an eye patch so he looked different than the character he played in the Crazies.
Oh, I thought when he said that it was because he wanted to imply that he survived in the Crazies.
No, it was Romero.
He lost an eye.
No, Romero said, get him an eye patch.
Well, I got that part. I'm just saying, I thought when he said that, it was because he's implying that he survived, but he lost an eye.
No, they were not implying it. Different character.
Well,
Your logical hell. He was great. Guy was great.
He was crazy.
No, but he was like...
Because 1 minute he was saying, like, there's no way to survive this, and the next minute he's saying we got to bomb all the cities.
Well, yes, he
He
does.
was contradicting
The
himself.
nuclear option. Come on. No, he was saying that they congregate in the cities. You.
First he says there's no way out of this, and then he's like, we got to bomb the cities
Well, it's just a suggestion he's throwing out there.
because he's desperate. They all were.
Yeah, they all were desperate. So then Roger dies. They bury him in the mall. And as you pointed out, as a woman would practically, what did you say? You're right about it.
I was like, that's gonna stink.
It's going to stink. You're right, because he's
It's
buried.
like, why did they bury him there? I mean, that planter was only what? Maybe at the most 3 feet deep?
It's true.
That's gonna stink. They should have just tossed him outside. I'm sorry. That's
And
mean, but-
I love it when Peter's like, do you want to abort it? It's not too late, and I know how.
Yeah, how does he know how?
Because he's in the
thought
military.
that was the silliest line.
Why?
I was like, what?
Because he's military, man. He knows what he has to... Look,
Military? How would he know how to abort a baby?
maybe he's a battlefield medic. Do you want to abort
But he's
it?
not.
We don't know that. We know he's got a background in, like, he's a combat vet. That's
No.
why he's a badass.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with abortions.
Well, maybe he's a medic, too. Maybe he knows. All we know is that Peter knows how to do it.
Which is weird. I don't get how he would know.
Do you want to abort it?
That was crazy.
And then, of course, Peter is the one, before Roger dies, they kill all the zombies, they clean up the mall. It's now empty, and of course we have to mention, you know Macumba? Voodoo. Granddad was a priest in Trinidad. He used to tell us, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. Come on, man.
There's no more room in hell.
That was the ad line that was on the poster, the one sheet.
Is that what's happening right now? There's no more room in hell?
Well, I mean, euphemistically. I mean, but so you know, and just when you think that the civilization that they've put back together is unraveling, because it's only a semblance of civilization. There's no art. There's no striving. You have the accoutrements of civilization, but you don't have real civilization. You know, as much as they might
there's
try.
only so long that they could survive without other people finding them and trying to take what they have.
Well, no, but I mean, in terms of what's happening internally, Francis, what have we done to ourselves? You know, the moment where Stephen, it's like she turns off the TV. There hasn't been a broadcast in 3 days, and turns off the TV. And Stephen defiantly just gets up without saying anything, walks over,
And turns it on.
turns on the TV. You know, that maybe somebody will broadcast again. And that's what she says, what have we done to ourselves? Because they're not really living. They're living in this...
They're not really living, but what's the alternative?
Well, but that's...
And I was with Steven at that point. I was like, he had hope.
Right, see, that's what you're saying. That's why this
He
movie's
had
so
hope.
good. That's why it's so good, because you responded that way.
But she kind of gave up.
Or she's a pragmatist like women are. He's a dreamer. He's dreaming that someone's going to put it all back together.
I would have been keeping the TV on.
Okay. And then what happens?
Then what? Oh, okay. So they're enjoying life. They're checking off
Enjoying life.
as much as you can in a zombie apocalypse.
Apocalypse? A zombie
I said that
apocalypse?
last night.
Is that apocalypse? Is that when the police come? It's
It reminds me of
apocalypse.
like Zoe when she was little. Instead of suitcase, she would say "kootsack."
What's changed?
She doesn't say "kootsack" anymore.
Well, it's an apocalypse.
Yes, apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Anyway, where was I?
You were talking about the apocalypse that's happening. No, so okay, what you were going to say is that the life they've tried to put together.
Right. I mean, they're doing the best they can.
Best they
They
can.
actually have it pretty good for survivors, because I'm sure out in the real world, people aren't having such a good time in a mall.
No, and we meet people from the real world,
Yes.
don't we?
So, yes.
So Steven starts to teach Fran how to fly the helicopter.
Right.
And during one of those lessons, there's what's so cool about this movie are the changes
But
of
she insisted that he teach her. in case something happened to him.
Right, well, she was
right.
Smart. She was right. But one of the great, again, from a movie standpoint, storytelling standpoint, it's really great because you've been following. So you have the perspective of Stephen and Fran at WGON in the beginning. Then you have Peter and Roger at the tenement building, and then they're together. So you've been following them, and then for the very first time in the movie, when the helicopter lands, when Fran lands the helicopter for the first time, the movie jumps out.
Yeah.
It jumps out to a different perspective, and you're looking, and it's so great. You're looking at through these binoculars, and you realize, oh my God, someone's watching them.
Yes.
And we cut to Tom Savini, makeup artist.
They've been discovered. Yeah. Their peace and enjoying the mall has come to an end. It was bound to happen.
Come on, man. That's a private army.
Yeah, so it's a biker gang.
It's a biker gang. Men and women.
Yeah, and they're like, they've got it good. They live in a mall. Let's go.
There's 3 of us.
There's 3 of us, and there's like what, 20?
We don't like people who don't share. You just fucked up real bad.
Yeah. But Fran was like, we should tell them we're here.
Right.
But the other 2 were like, no. Because Steve is not very bright.
Well, they could have parlayed. I mean, if they'd answered. I mean, that's a really great question to ask.
I was with Fran. I would have been like, yes, we're here. We're willing to come. You're welcome. But don't let the zombies in. That's all. It's a huge mall. I don't see why you couldn't live with other people.
Well, because people are fearful, and you never know. And those people were douchebags, and
they were douchebags. That's the thing.
One of them had a submachine gun.
They were douchebags.
They were douchebags. They were surviving. They were a
How
private army.
How did they survive so long?
Because they were a private army, as Peter points out.
Yeah, but once they get into the mall, they do some really stupid shit.
Well, but they're also like, they're rock and roll, Hessian, beer drinking party animals.
Yes, but because they are that, how did they survive in the world for so long?
Because they have guns.
That's my question.
They have guns. I mean, basically, okay, if you'll go with me on this, basically, they're Republicans.
Please don't start.
No, but not from a. They're surviving. They're living, and the way they are living, they're having fun. Are they? So the question is, you have 2 different life. You have 2 different ways of living life. You have the people that have sequestered themselves away in their perfect little environment, and then you have this private army that are clearly having a good time. They're living in the world. They're wearing their American flags and their Peter Fonda in Captain America helmet from Easy Rider. They are also alive. So you have these 2 diametrically opposing viewpoints now that come into conflict. And what happens? They don't talk to each other.
They don't talk to each other.
So watching it from today's perspective, the guys could have said, hey, you know what? We got this mall. Come on in. What do you need?
Yeah, exactly.
In the
Fran
world,
was like, we need to tell them we're here.
You know what? If they just said, guys, just said, hey, man, we got this mall. We've got plenty of shit. Come in here.
There's tons of stuff in there. There's plenty for everyone.
Who's to say that they wouldn't have said, that's great. And we can give you intelligence. We can say where we've been, where the civilization's going. What can we do? If they had just said
communication.
Hey, that's it. They didn't.
And Fran was like, we need to tell them. And the other 2 were like, nope.
And look what happened.
And Steve, oh my God, what an idiot.
And then he's like, we took it. It's ours.
Yeah. And there's 2 of them against 20.
And Peter's like, look, just be stealth, man. Let's just lock the stores. They'll get. And Peter was right. He goes, when these doors are open, there's going to be 1,000 of these things in here.
Yep.
But Steven couldn't handle it. Because why?
Couldn't handle it. Because he's an idiot.
He's a pussy. He's like, this is ours. This is all ours.
He has self-esteem issues.
Well, these are definitely there are political overtones in this entire film. And who's to say? I mean, I think that's one of the really interesting moments.
It is.
You could have shared, but you didn't. You just fucked up real bad. And then they come in.
They come in.
And I think that isn't that.
And even so, if Steven hadn't started shooting at them, they still probably would have all survived. Because, like Peter said, the zombies will take over and get rid of them for us. But no, Steven just had to, his ego was just too big. And his esteem was too small.
That's right. And there's a second apocalypse brought about because human beings would not cooperate.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't build... You have one group of people that were living on the road, that were surviving in the midst of this apocalypse, which was valuable. And then you had these other people that found them all, also valuable. Both of those skill sets were needed to survive, but
yeah,
our characters are like, nope.
The men. Fran wanted to.
Well, and we'll never know. You could have said that those people would have been overzealous and taken over them all, but you know what?
They might have.
Would that have been such a bad thing?
I mean, if you're going to survive, you're going to survive, right? There were going to be people who were going to come to the mall at some point, eventually. Wouldn't it be better to cooperate rather than fight them, try to fight them off and end up dying?
I know.
Right?
And so there's a conflagration, the zombies come in, all hell breaks loose. Steven and Peter go to war with the biker gang, with Tom
2
Savini's
against
gang.
20 and plus zombies.
Yeah, and it doesn't end well for a lot of people.
A lot of them die.
50% of our characters die in that battle.
Yeah.
Or that were participating in the battle.
Stupid Steven becomes a zombie.
One of the great zombies of all time. Yes. His acting with the gun on his fingertip.
He was great. He was a great zombie.
Great zombie.
I want to see that figure.
With a little bit of intelligence, because he knew where they were.
Right. It was memory. Like he
it establishes that many zombies know how to climb ladders.
They do. They know how to climb ladders. They know how to press elevator buttons.
No, that was an accident.
They know how to break down walls.
So, yes, they do. So, at the end of the movie, Fran and Peter escape in the WGON helicopter.
They do.
Half the Raiders are dead. Steven is dead.
But before that happens, Peter is like, oh, I'm going to stay. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well,
seriously?
The mythical footage that no one's ever seen is apparently, he did shoot himself at the end of the movie, but they changed it. I don't know if I believe that. That's what they said they filmed.
That's bullshit. Of all the characters, he would not have shot himself. I'm sorry. And he would have been like, yeah, let's get the fuck out of here.
One would think.
Yeah. So for him to say, like, I want to stay, I was like, what? That's dumb.
Well,
of course, then he has a change of heart.
When then they flee. He gets up there. He fights his way through the zombies. He gets on the helicopter, and they fly off into the dawn.
They do. Where did they go? I wanted to know what happened to the baby. I wanted to see the baby being born. I wanted to
you never know.
How are they going to survive?
So did you feel cheated by the end of the movie?
I thought it was a good ending, but I would have liked to know what happened to her.
It's not like Return of the King, where they're going to go to the Grey Havens and we're going to go live with the elves and it's all going to be fine. There's nowhere to go. When they take off, there's no fuel left.
You feel very concerned. I felt very concerned.
Because really, even though the dawn has come, there's nowhere to go. So.
Right. But, okay, what's left are the two most intelligent characters. So
right.
I have faith that they figured out where to go and that they survived and the baby grew up. And, yeah.
Well, judging from the other movies that came after Dawn of the Dead, the 4 movies.
I haven't seen.
Well, there's
Day of the Dead.
No, they never deal with it. They never deal with these characters anymore. There's Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, Survival of the Dead.
Worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So the likelihood that Fran and her baby survives.
It's very small. So what did you think of the movie?
I loved it.
You did love it.
I loved it.
All right. Now, see, I think watching it again, the movie has great scope. There's a lot going on here. It it feels like you've watched a whole week of a miniseries in one movie.
It's true.
I mean, there's a lot going on. A lot. That's why I love it, because it doesn't matter how big the budget is. The story and the characters, you really feel like you've gone through this epic tale. I mean, it's not Lord of the Rings, but it does have a certain epic quality.
Well,
to it.
okay, I have to say, when I first started watching horror, it was with my best friend Julia, and we started with some pretty easy to watch horror, but then it was the year that The Walking Dead started, so we jumped right in, and that was my first exposure to zombies. And so watching this movie and seeing how it influenced that show, it just was endearing to me. Like, I was like, oh, so The Walking Dead was basically a love letter to this movie.
Yeah, that's how the comic book it's based on is exactly that.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, I love this movie. This is great because, okay, I got bored with The Walking Dead because it became the same thing over and over again. But the first few seasons I was like, so.
No, I agree. And then it gets to the point where why is everyone an asshole?
Everyone becomes an asshole, and it just becomes ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, and you'd think that once people got to grips, and really, the idea that zombies never deteriorate, like over the course of months, zombies would deteriorate.
Yeah.
And eventually, after a year, there'd be no more zombies.
It's true.
They'd all be gone. Yet, when someone dies, they would come back unless they were taken care of. So after a year, there would really be no more.
Only a few.
Yeah, if you were to outlive them, they would just deteriorate, which is something they've never really dealt with very much.
It's true. And it dragged on and on. I just kind of dropped it after a few seasons.
Yeah.
But I loved the first few seasons.
The first season was really good because it felt
So seeing this movie, I was like, oh, I see where they got all their whole world.
Well, we have letters and we have lots of people in the chat talking about this. Let me see what we're at here. We got a few letters first. I mean, we're so over time. This is going to be like a long episode of this show. The first letter we got comes from Tanner Genest. I hope I got that, Tanner. Hello there, Duke and Ace. As well, a hearty greetings to the lovely Post-Geek Singularity community. Knowing that you're going to be doing original OG Dawn, original gangster, original geek Dawn of the Dead, makes me excited to see you two half-cut and talking about zombies. I've always enjoyed zombies as horror monsters, and despite the many manuals on surviving them, there's just something terrifying to me about an unstoppable horde bearing down on you, and just one bite is all they need to make you one of them. Makes my short hairs tingle, if you know what I mean. That's why I shave those short hairs. As occasional devil's advocate, I will add that the trope of zombies getting more and more amped up, like we've seen in Resident Evil and Z Nation, makes it hard to enjoy sometimes. I agree with that.
Yeah.
However, in my humble opinion, I think Dawn of the Dead is a top-tier zombie movie. You think it's a top tier? No, brah. It's the toppest of the top tiers. And only gets pushed for my number one due to Shaun of the Dead. Yo, man! Shaun of the Dead is an adjunct.
Do that.
It is an adjunct to Dawn of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead would not exist without Dawn of the Dead. Just because it's funny.
You showed me years ago Shaun of the Dead.
I understand, but it is not. There's Dawn of the Dead and Shaun of the Dead. Just so you know, Shaun. Just
okay, but we should totally do that for this show.
Thanks for reading. Hope I didn't ramble too much. My letter writing skills aren't on point, but one day they'll be better. I'd say they're on point, aside from one point of view. I hope everyone's having a grand time. Hang loose and actually, it's hang loose, right? Hang loose and aim for the head. We always do. That's what she said. The next letter we have is from Daryl Joyce. Greetings, Rob and Elizabeth. I've been watching for a while and enjoying the back catalog of WINEning reviews. Now that you've reached Dawn of the Dead, I thought I'd leap in with a first letter and a few memories. Here in the UK in the 1970s, Dawn was designated as an X-rated film.
Wow.
And being too young to see it, my initial impressions of the film were the TV spots and trailers. I suppose compared to the rotten zombies that came later in Lucio Fulci's and laterally via Lucio Fulci in his movie Zombie 2, and latterly The Walking Dead, Dawn's Dead look a little plain. But at the time, those staring blue-gray automatons bumping belly first into glass doors of the mall looked pretty damn scary. Whilst I'd have to wait for the VHS revolution of the early 80s to finally see the film, what I remember of the initial release was the fact that the UK was going through what was called the Winter of Discontent at the same time. We're right there with you now. This was a political issue where unions had brought the country to a standstill with a long strike affecting essential key workers. It saw the army thing on the roll of firefighters and the garbage left uncollected to pile up on the mountains of rot on the streets week after week, leading to a plague of rats infesting London. Also mentioned on the news at the time was the fact that the dead were going unburied and being stored until the strike was resolved. Wow, we're right here now. This continued for some months during a severe winter. It seemed to me that the army, the rats, and the dead tied in with portentous elements in culture. James Herbert's horror novel The Rats, which I read at summer camp, appeared prophetic, as did the striking Dawn tagline, "When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth." Whilst I couldn't see the film, it all heightened expectations, and I sort of liked it. It would be the following year that I finally got into a theater to see an X film, and that was Alien. I have to admit, I painted a little fake stubble on my chin to hoodwink the cinema proprietor, but I think he was more interested in my money than my loose morals or my shit teenage beard. Certainly he had no problems taking my cash a few weeks later when I revisited to watch the other Cinderella, my next and far more appropriate X film. So there's a few memories of the era. I'm looking forward to your review and everything that comes along with the WINEning list. As an illustrator for physical media for Arrow, Anolis, Shout Factory, and other companies, I also love your show with Dieter and the insider knowledge you bring to all discussions. Work has been a little thin this last year, so whining about movies has not only got me to revisit classic films rather than suffer woke TV, but it's also inspired me to paint up posters for my favorite classic films. I hope you might consider checking out a few of the images as they were instigated by watching your WINEning reviews.
Oh, very cool.
Well, wait a minute, sir. If that's the case, hold on. What do we... Oh, look at that. Wow, look at that.
That's so cool.
Okay, that's pretty dope. Let's,
Go back to the letter and then...
Here, hang on. No, what I'm going to do is this. Oh, shit. That's all I wanted to do. Damn it. Damn it.
If you go to the letter, you can copy the link and then just put it in the
I know.
chat.
I screwed it up. What I was going to do is do this. I can copy the link, but what I wanted to do is do something different, which was this, which I screwed up. And I will do this because keep talking. Give me some banter. Why don't you talk about how great this piece of artwork is?
That's amazing.
It's amazing,
I don't think
right?
I've seen that film.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's pretty good. I like that film. So here's another one.
Let's see.
Let's see what it is. Well, hang on. Talk about how great the artwork is, because hang on, we're going to share it.
No, it's really amazing. I mean, and that's just one of. I'm sure he's done several posters.
Yeah. What I don't like is why for whatever reason we can't seem to. It's probably because I'm live.
Too many windows open.
Well, hang on. I will do this. We can show his artwork. Let me put it on. I know people are like, wait, why? This is so boring. Let's. It is boring, and I understand that, but we're going to get it. Don't worry.
You should just put the link in the chat.
Yeah, or I can do this. Look
well,
at
there
that.
You go.
Oh, boy. This is amazing. This is Daryl Joyce's artwork. I mean, this is incredible. That I don't know if that's for Arrow or if it's for Scream Factory, but my God, it's amazing. Now, this other link is proving to be problematic, so I'm going to put that in the live chat. But this is Daryl Joyce's work, and I hope everybody takes the time to look in the live chat and check out this link. This is amazing.
But also put the link to this, because he has more than just that poster.
Well, here you go. I will do that. So here's Daryl's link. Elizabeth needs to be the producer. She is the producer.
It's my show, Philip. Come on, man.
It's your show, man. Yeah, so that's good work. All the best, and long may you continue. Daryl Joyce. Well, Daryl, thank you. That means a lot. What do you think about what Daryl said?
I love it.
Pretty great, right?
I love the artwork. It's amazing.
And you being a fine artist, you are correct when you...
Yeah, and I want to see more, so I'm going to follow up and look at the rest of his work.
That is true. So let's see. Let's go to our... the first person that we have here is Glenn Taylor sending in an amazing super chat. Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you.
That is an incredibly generous super chat. You know,
Yes.
Glenn's now married for 24 years.
Wow, congratulations.
I know, right? And I believe, if I remember correctly, the first movie they saw was Short Circuit. Him and his wife. Remember
I
that?
love that movie.
Was Short Circuit? Glenn says, Rob, you're a very likable person and your personality is contagious. Well, you know what? I hope not in a zombie apocalypse sort of a way. In a good way.
If more people could be like you and
Oh, that's very nice. Cheers to me.
cheers to you.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Give me a kiss,
buddy.
babe. You smell good.
Well, thank you.
What and whom influenced you the most to get into the entertainment industry? By the way, your girlfriend is amazing as well. Thanks and have a great day, my friend. Well, Glenn, thanks for the generous support. I think I should probably cut to, like, we're producing the show. Let's be producers.
Let's be producers.
Here's the thing. I wanted to make movies my whole life, and I credit the fact that I saw War of the Worlds was what did it. It was a combination of War of the Worlds when I was 5, and then everything I saw in sci-fi theater, whether it was a Godzilla movie or whether it was a bad movie like oh God, They Came from Beyond Space with the Moon Master, with Alfred, the man who later played Alfred in Tim Burton's Batman, Michael Gough. And Jason the Argonauts and Planet of the Apes, and I just always wanted to make movies. And it wasn't until Star Wars came out where I started to understand more like how movies were made because of the making of Star Wars. So that was it. I mean, it was science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And it was all like once you were interested in movies, it made you interested in music and performance, and it all sort of fed into each other. And you know, growing up in the sweet spot where I was there at the dawn of home video, so suddenly I'm like, oh my God, I can study movies and I can record. I'd look through the TV guide and record things at 3 a.m. that my parents wouldn't let me stay up and watch. And so you became a student of it, but it was something that you had to go, instead of getting a syllabus, I made my own syllabus and I had to go out and learn it all. So that's kind of how it all happened. Our moderator, Joshua Levet, is here. Hey, Rob and Liz, love the show. Captain Opinion suggested a new opening title for you, Rob. The Baron of Buffering. This is not me. I'm not the Baron of Buffering. This is not me, man. This is YouTube.
It's a YouTube issue.
Laugh out loud.
That's
Seriously,
funny.
though, love your titles, and Liz should have some more. Like, maybe the Queen of Quintessential Opinions. What do you guys think? I don't know.
I like that.
Are you the Queen of Quintessential Opinions?
Yeah.
Could be.
But if I'm drinking, I won't be able to say that.
Well, we don't usually drink until after you say what you are.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Tom Jr. Jackson sends in a tip and says, come on, Ace. We both know when Rob says drown his sorrows, it's code for pregame for whining. I'm just glad Rob got to finally watch the movie. Also, Susanna Sparrow, best name ever. Have you guys done The Big Chill yet? No.
Oh.
But I own it on Blu-ray.
We should do it.
Dun, 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 dun. I guess I wonder how I knew about your plans to make me blue with some other guy. Sorry.
I love when you sing, babe.
The Spider Monkey, Tim is here. I love this movie. It's firmly placed in my top 10. I can't tell you how many times I've bought this, but I guess I'll never need another copy. Now I have the Second Sight box. Now, when do we get Martin? When do we get Martin? I mean, Second Sight, I don't mean to, like, look. But that doesn't mean we don't want Martin. Where is Martin? You said we're going to get Martin. That's one disc, baby. There's only one version of that. Where is it? I don't know. Gimme, gimme, gimme. It's never enough. It's never enough. I want. 200 Watt Studio sends in a super chat and says, great seeing the childlike exuberance in Rob. Laugh out loud. You mean you don't see the childlike exuberance? I'll tell you, between this and the show I'm going to do tomorrow,
What are you doing tomorrow?
And, we're doing Fully Articulated. Az and I are going to do another. Come on, man.
That was supposed to be our show.
It's going to be our show. We're going to do our shows.
I'm never going to get to free the toys.
Nick Markin sends in the super chat and says, "So Rob, I know you love this movie and Empire Strikes Back. You saw Empire 26 times in the theater. I did. So is one of these your favorite film of all time?" No. No, they are not. Look, both Empire, which I didn't. I wish I had seen this movie. I probably have seen Dawn of the Dead in the theater. Last time I saw it in the theater, did you go to with? I don't know if you were there. Were we dating when I saw the 3D version? No, you didn't see it. The last time I saw Dawn of the Dead was in the theater was in 3D, probably in 2014. It was not good. They did a 3D conversion, but they didn't color correct to do it first. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. I was very disappointed, but I went. Empire, neither Empire nor Dawn of the Dead are my favorite movies of all time, and I'll tell you why. I feel the same way about, if I'm going to call something a favorite film of mine should be all-encompassing of the universal truths of man, and they have to transcend. I mean, both Empire and Dawn of the Dead transcend their genres, but they're also very much a product of their genres. Whereas I think two of my favorite films of all time that are higher on that list are Coppola's The Godfather and A Clockwork Orange, which I think are movies that are, at least to me, more important in terms of espousing the great truths, and they're more outside their genre than these films are, even though both Empire and Dawn of the Dead are very much outside. They're outliers, but I still love them. But Dawn of the Dead is right there. It's not quite number one, but it's in the top 5 for me. Empire is not. As much as I love Star Wars and Empire is in top 20. That was actually Nick who said that. Black Philip Alvarez says Ace shirt ordered. Oh, you ordered it today. I saw that you ordered it.
Oh my God.
Great movie tonight. Ever thought of covering Leon the Professional? Oh, we can do that.
I would totally love to do that.
You should do that.
He's a French actor.
We should do that. And I have an action figure. You can open a Matilda. I mean, I have Leon already, but you could open Matilda.
I would love to do that.
It's not a great figure. The Leon figure is amazing, but the Matilda,
we have to have him out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he reminds me of my uncle.
Nick Markins comes back and says, "What do you think about these?" Why your uncle?
He looks.
Was he an assassin?
My uncle looks just like him.
Did he train you to kill people?
He taught me how to play chess.
Not the same. This is not the Queen's Gambit. This is Leon the Professional. He's an assassin.
He looks like him. My uncle looks like him.
All right. Does he wear a cap? Like a beanie?
No.
Does he carry a plan around?
No, he looks like him.
Okay.
And he's also French.
Well, there you go.
Just saying. Oh, he's French and his father was Yugoslavian.
Wow.
Married my aunt.
Hey, you know what I'm getting
my mother's sister.
You know what I'm getting on Blu-ray this week? A Serbian film, uncut.
I thought you said you didn't want me to see it.
I never do. I'm just saying I have it.
Then I'm not going to see it.
Never do. Nick Markins comes back again and says, "What do you think about the special effects? Like how all of the zombies are just blue, and why is the blood the color that it is? Just the technology at the time?"
You know what? The blue doesn't bother me. The blood bothers me.
It's very red.
It's like orange red, which is... But back then, that's the color that they used for blood, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a choice. And I think contrasting against the blue, it was even that much more garish.
Right.
I mean, I think he could have made it more black, but like a blackish red.
But back then, they all used that bright red color.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Look, there's a lot of people that are going to go back and watch this movie now. And they're just not going to get it.
They're going to make fun of it.
They'll make fun of it. I understand that. Look, after you've, after you've watched and I always say that after 20 years, your pop culture goes back. I mean, you can't expect a modern audience that grew up, even if you're 30 years old and you were born in 1990, 11 years after this movie came out, you wouldn't even be allowed to see it until 2000. And by then, I mean, look at the technology, the Resident Evil movies, all the shit that was coming out. There's no way. And you go back and you watch this film, I get it. I totally understand. It's like going back and watching Halloween. Expecting, oh my God. It's like, even when we watched Friday the 13th on this show, I was like, wow, I thought it was so gory when I saw it. Now it's kind of like quaint
so
phantasm.
tame.
It's almost like a kid's movie. So.
Yeah.
But I think it still works.
I loved it.
Again, it's like when you watch a silent movie or a black and white movie, you got to put yourself in the mindset.
Absolutely.
Cal is here. Swag props. I know Rob has seen Zack Snyder's remake, but I'm curious if Elysabeth has seen it too, and if so, what are your thoughts?
Remake of this?
Dawn of the Dead.
I have not seen it.
Zombie Baby. Personally, I loved it.
There was a zombie baby?
Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier in this show.
Oh, it was the actual remake of this film?
Yes, it's a remake.
So they actually show Fran's baby as a zombie baby.
Well, the character's not quite the same.
So it's not a remake.
It is. Well, it's not a remake.
It's a reimagining.
It's a reimagining. Yes, and James Gunn wrote it, who made Guardians of the Galaxy.
So did you like it?
I'll tell you something. There has never been a time in my life where I was adamantly opposed to remaking a movie more than Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. As a matter of fact, I walked into that theater. I was so angry that somebody...
were so closed off. So for you to walk into the theater...
What do you mean I was so closed off? How do you know?
Because you said you were pissed off that they were remade.
Okay, I thought you meant as like in general I'm closed off.
No.
I was saying it personally.
You just said you were closed off.
Oh, no.
To seeing the remake of this movie.
I was so angry that they...
Did you ever refill my glass?
Yes.
Is there any wine left?
No, there's no more wine left. There's another bottle.
We are not opening.
Okay, I was so against the remake of this movie. I think I literally walked into the theater like this.
And when you saw the zombie baby, you fell in love?
Gotta say. Against, like... And this is why people go, Rob, you hate Star Trek Discovery because you're just an old man shouting at clouds. You don't like... I was like that. No, I was the guy. Like, I go into every Discovery episode going, maybe this time it won't be like the most god-awful shite anyone's ever put on a screen. I thought that Dawn of the Dead was going to be that way. 10 minutes in, I was like, huh. Half an hour and I'm like, I might have dropped my hands to my sides. Maybe I'm like, I even might have crossed my legs 45 minutes in. I liked Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. I liked it.
Wow.
I liked it.
I want to see it now.
I was surprised.
There's a zombie baby in
Did
it.
I love it as much as Dawn of the Dead? No. But I thought it was very respectable, and I thought as a reimagining of the movie,
Does
pretty
it happen
good.
in a mall?
Yes.
Oh my God, I have to see it.
Yes, it does. I mean, it basically
Do you
plays...
have it?
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that I have the remake of Dawn of the Dead?
Yes.
You'd be correct.
The question is, how many copies?
3. I have 3 copies of the remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Dude.
What can I say?
That's messed
They're dead. They're all messed up. That's from Night of the Living Dead. Anyway, so there you go. Let's see. The Richard, he's like, I want the Richard to be like, guys, would you shut up? How long do I have to be on the show?
Like, I need to go to bed
The
now.
Richard says, hope you have my Dawn of the Dead game trailer to share here. I do not have your Dawn of the Dead game trailer to share here. But I will share it on our show tomorrow. Well, on my show. I didn't download it.
Oh, yeah, you should totally share
The Richard says, I watch this film once a month, period. That's why I'm so passionate with my games. I didn't think about that.
He sent me the video. It's pretty cool.
I did watch the video.
He turned a Mall Madness
I
game.
know. He turned
Into a
Dawn of the Dead game.
Dawn of the Dead game.
It's good.
It was pretty brilliant.
It was pretty brilliant.
Yeah, you should share it tomorrow.
I will share it. I will share it tomorrow. I didn't. You know what? To be honest, Richard, I'm sorry. I didn't think about that. But I do have my Dawn of the Dead board game there that's still sealed.
There's a board game?
Yeah, it's right there.
And what?
Don't knock over Black Widow. Be careful. Yes, look. This is it's a Dawn of the Dead game. It does have it's a board game, believe it or not, and this is a sealed version of it. The SPI Dawn. You can find this online. You can download the pieces and whatever, but this is an actual. You can hear the pieces in there. This is the actual game, and it is still sealed, mint condition. So, yep.
So
Actually,
you wouldn't even know how to play it because you haven't opened it.
Mike Schertz and I play this all the time.
Is it fun?
I was given this as a gift by somebody named Slave. Believe it or not.
Sounds kinky.
No. It's not kinky. But, yes. So, here's the original game.
Is it fun?
It's really fun, actually. And look, there's, Roger and Fran. So, there you go. Still sealed.
That's cool.
I know, right? That's from like 1908. Well, let's see what the I wonder if there's a
I don't think they're going to put the date on the box.
Well, they might have cuz there's got to be a copyright there. Yeah, 1979.
Oh, it came out the year the movie came out?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. 41. This is 41 years old,
Can we
people.
crack it open and play it?
No.
Come on, man.
No,
What's the
we're not.
point?
No, we're not cracking it open. I'm not
So
opening
does that mean it's worth something?
But yeah.
How much is it worth?
I don't know, a couple $100. You're not going to sell it. Nope. Cass sends in a tip and says, "Greetings yet again, my sophisticated cinematic fueled winos. I can't think of any better way to celebrate the new year without you two reviewing some giant bacon hunting worms. Tremors will be turning 31.
What?
31
No.
years of age on the 19th. Jump residual boulders." You know, it's funny he says that.
I haven't seen Tremors.
Really? Well, you know what's really interesting about that is
Sitting on your desk.
it's just so happens that, look at the new box set, the new Arrow box set of Tremors. Oh, yeah.
What is that about?
Well, it's about graboids. I know. You know what? We should make this the next whining about movies. Why not? And
I
we
thought
will.
we were doing Westerns.
Well, we were going to do a Western week, but this can lead us into Westerns. This is like a monster Western. Because Cass sent in a tip and asked about it, and you never know it's on my desk. It might be a mess. But my God, you randomly talk about a movie,
and it's right there.
There it appears.
Mind-blowing.
That's what we do here on Whining About Movies. By the way, this is a gorgeous set. I mean, comes with a poster. If you like Tremors, my God, look at this. It comes with an awesome book. This awesome book. This is an awesome set. And look, I just happen to have it right here.
It was right there.
The guy just asked for it. 31 years. Come on.
And there you go.
That's what you can do. You just never know. You just ask me. Here's a 41-year-old Dawn of the Dead board game. You want Tremors? 31 years old. It's on my desk. Who can do that? 200 Watt Studio sent in a $5 super chat and says, "World War II metaphor further, you could say our group of 4 is like Anne Frank hiding in the attic. They in the attic of the mall hiding while being hunted."
That's
absolutely.
true.
You could absolutely say that. I totally.
Yes.
Hey, look who's here. George Michael Frigero.
Wow.
The biker gang in this film wasn't that far off from what happened at the Capitol a week ago. The only difference is no motorcycles, just Trump zombies. I think the biker gang in this movie was far more organized and ready to survive than, let's not forget that one of the people that was arrested, our favorite Viking, shirtless Viking, went on a hunger strike because he wanted organic food.
This was a Republican?
This was somebody that was in the Capitol. He went on a hunger strike on Friday, and then his mother complained that he wasn't being given organic food. So guess what? They capitulated, and he's in prison for committing sedition.
Wait, they're giving him organic food?
They're giving him organic food. Talk about...
Wait a second.
If you
he
don't,
broke the law?
No,
and they're giving him organic food?
They committed sedition.
Yeah, what the hell?
He went on a hunger strike. I say they bought their tickets.
Let him be on his
They
hunger
knew what
strike.
they were giving it. They knew what they were getting into. Let them die.
I'm
the
sorry.
Maybe the greatest
Most
sense
people
of...
can't even afford organic food.
This is a white dude, a white Viking, whose mommy came to plead for him.
Of course
and
she
now
did.
he gets his organic food. I mean,
wow.
This is why America, this one instance, everything wrong with America. He marches on the Capitol. He takes a bunch of selfies. He gets caught. Poor him. Goes to prison. Goes on a hunger strike because he doesn't get organic food.
And then his mom.
And then his mom
calls
comes
up and says, "You better give him organic food." And what did they do?
In Dawn of the Dead, they would have shot him in the fucking head. But we can't do that because, hey.
And I'm not against organic food.
I'm not against organic food either. But when you commit sedition and you break into the people's house.
Things.
Yeah, if you're going to go on a hunger strike, fuck you. Die. Die. Oh. And I say that because, look, I don't really mean for him to die, but are you kidding me? He goes to prison and he goes on a hunger strike for organic food, not for a higher ideal. He didn't go into the Capitol. Basically, he just was another asshole who wanted an Instagram photo op. No one had ever attacked the Capitol building, and the people that do go to jail and want organic food. I only wish they were as intelligent as the zombies in Dawn of the Dead, who would eat their captors. They wouldn't ask for organic food. But that's where we are.
Are humans organic? Nah, we're full
Humans
of
aren't organic anymore.
They
used to be.
chemicals.
Timbulus, the Spider Monkey Tim, goes on and says, "Have you seen One Cut of the Dead?" Oh, yes, I have. If so, what do you think? I love it, and the sudden change in direction is awesome. It's really great. However, Charlie Brooker, who created Black Mirror, did a mini-series for the BBC called Dead Set. I showed it to you.
Oh, is that the reality show?
Yes.
Oh, that's so good.
And it One Cut of the Dead does bear some similarities.
Oh, yeah.
But One Cut of the Dead is great. If you haven't seen One Cut of the Dead, don't read about it. Just watch it.
Is that a movie?
Yes. You haven't seen it.
What about Dead Set?
Well, Dead Set's a TV series.
That came before
Yes.
this.
It came before One Cut of the Dead.
So they copied Dead Set.
It's similar. It's similar. It's in the same genre of... It's the same genre subset of zombie movies.
I thought Dead Set was so good.
Dead Set was so good. Please do Shaun of the Dead. That way we can all go to the Winchester, have a pint, and wait for all of this to blow over. But it didn't blow over, did it? But yes, I know what you mean. The Richard says, I specialize in designing tabletop and card games on all films like this. I'm building an army of artists now. Well, that's always a good thing. Crowdfund that stuff. The Thing game is awesome.
Games, yes. There's a huge game store right down the street.
There is. It's a gigantic game store.
It's huge.
It's huge.
It's half a block big.
Yes, it's half a block from here. 2 blocks from here. It's right down the street. John says, I just watched Shaun of the Dead the other night with Hot Fuzz and The World's End.
I love Hot Fuzz.
The Coronado trilogy. But I've never seen Dawn of the Dead yet. But I'm inspired to do so.
I hadn't seen it until last night.
Cheers to you both and to the chat as well.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. Cheers to John. John Dean says, is Dawn of the Dead your favorite of the trilogy? Yes. Yes, it is. And remember, it's no longer just night, dawn, and day. There's also land, diary, and survival. So there's actually 2 Romero trilogies. Living Dead trilogies. Mr. Jones sends in a super chat and says, "Hey Rob, if I wanted to start Star Trek from the beginning, I've never seen anything Star Trek before. Where do I start?" Well, Mr. Jones, this is your lucky day, because don't listen to anyone else. Don't read anything. The very first Star Trek episode you have to see is called, it's the original series. It's the 3rd episode broadcast, which is actually the original pilot of, well, there are 2 Star Trek pilots. There is The Cage. Don't watch The Cage. No. That was rejected by the network. They retooled it, and they made a new pilot, and that was called Where No Man Has Gone Before, which was actually broadcast 3rd. I know. I don't know. Just trust me on this. So watch Where No Man Has Gone Before. The Cage will be taken care of later in the first season 2-part episode, The Menagerie, parts 1 and 2. So watch Where No Man Has Gone Before. That's where you start all Star Trek. Where No Man Has Gone Before, The Man Trap, and then Charlie X. Take it from me. Report back.
When I rewatched everything, I started with The Cage. It was good.
No! The Cage was never broadcast originally. It wasn't broadcast till years later.
I liked it.
But then you watch The Menagerie and you already know that. You're not supposed to watch The Cage first. It drives me crazy when people do that. That's not right. Don't listen to her. I'm
just saying that I watched it and I liked it.
Yeah, and then when you watch The Menagerie again, you're like, oh, they're repeating the same thing.
I didn't think that.
It's better to watch The Menagerie in the context.
I know what's going on. That's what I thought.
Damn, Dawn of the Dead box won't ship to Cali from Second Sights. Oh, no, they wouldn't ship to America. See if you can get it from Zavi. Z-A-A-V-I. Get it from Zavi. 200 Watt Studio says, is that Tremors box set the 2-disc limited edition? Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Yes. And I hear Amazon's going to get more in like on the 20th of July. Or 20th of June.
How would you know
20th
that?
of January.
How would you know that?
Okay, you want me to admit how I know that?
You wanted to buy it again?
Yeah, you don't want to buy it again?
Why?
Because this is a mistake.
What the hell?
This is the Blu-ray, not the 4K. It's exactly the same. And apparently when I ordered it, I didn't click. You know how on Amazon has the different things? I didn't click 4K. It was just, it defaulted to Blu-ray.
But we don't even have a 4K TV.
We got the player,
though. So it
doesn't our TV upscales.
matter.
A TV upscales. It does matter. All my discs, we still have upscaling. And the 4K, don't worry. The OLED's coming.
Is it?
Shh. Anthony Gonzalez says, I hate them when they ain't been shaved. That's near dark. Hey, y'all. Thanks to your recommendation on this show, I finally saw Let the Right One In. Since I like that, you can give me a couple of recommendations. Wait a minute, Anthony. Hang on. You say, I hate it when they ain't been shaved, which is what Bill Paxton says in Near Dark in the bar. And then you said, hi, y'all. Thanks to your recommendation on this show, I finally saw Let the Right One In. But you're quoting Near Dark. I'm confused. Maybe you saw both. If you saw Let the Right One In, I'm glad you saw it. Now you should watch Near Dark, but I guess you've already seen it because you know that line.
There you go.
So there you go.
You put 2 and 2 together.
2 and 2 together. Since I like that, can you give me a couple of recommendations? Vampire. Well, I would watch The Hunger, bit of a slow burn in terms of vampire movies. I would also watch Only Lovers Left Alive, another cool vampire movie. And if you want to see something really interesting, there's a 6-episode BBC series. It's about 20 years old called Ultraviolet that I would check out. There's some recommendations for you. Cal from Swag Prop says, do you guys prefer drag-ass zombies or sprinting zombies? Of course, in an actual zombie apocalypse, I think we would all prefer the first type. Here's my problem with running zombies.
I don't like fast zombies.
You know why? Because if zombies know how to run, they're thinking. They're making an assessment of a threat. They're like, oh, I need to run faster, which means they have cognitive abilities, which I think is too much.
Yeah.
Zombies shamble around because they're just
too scary.
They're just creatures. Running. They're just creatures of instinct. They can't decide whether they're running or not. Although in the Zack Snyder movie, sometimes they run. How do they know when to stop? Sometimes you see the zombies just keep running and running and running until they are distracted and go over there. I don't like running zombies because it gives them cognitive abilities.
I don't like them either. It's too scary.
Yeah.
Because with slow zombies, at least you have a chance.
By the way, this show is now 2 hours long. I think we're going to, as well it should be, because this is one of the great movies of my life. So I ask you, we come to the part where we rate the film.
Yes.
What is it?
Our bottoms up scale.
Our bottoms up scale. And what is our bottoms up scale?
1 to 4 glasses of wine, because there are 4 glasses in a bottle.
All right, Elizabeth. Now, there's no pressure here. I just want you to know there's there's no pressure here. No, I just before you say anything. Wait, hang on a second. Wait.
What? What?
This is my Japanese Laserdisc box set. I just want to open this up for a second. And in my box set, I have a Night of the Living Dead press kit from the Laurel Group. And I just...
what is that?
Here, this is my... You can't see it. It's my autograph, George Romero's autograph. To Bob Burnett.
This is to Bob Burnett.
Stay scared. George Romero. That's my autograph. This is my very rare Dawn of the Dead poster book that was published around the time when the movie came out.
No pressure.
And by the way, this artwork is pretty amazing. This MW Communications. Let's open it up because I've always wanted to get this like restored or framed or something. It's very, very cool. They used to make these poster books in the 70s, but here it is. And one day I want to get this mounted on linen. Look at this.
Oh, that's
when
really
there's
cool.
no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. It's a very rare Dawn of the Dead poster book. It's in would you attest to the condition that this is in? It's in.
Excellent.
Doesn't this look brand new?
This is probably only the second time he's ever touched it.
No, I used to touch it a lot. And this is actually a Night of the Living Dead press kit. I just want you to know that, and I keep it with. By the way, just to go a little further, and here, let me put this here for the time being. Just so you guys, I got to prove to you how deep the well goes. I know this isn't in the greatest. I mean, this disc is kind of.
Why are you doing that?
Why you ask? Why am I doing this? Well, you might ask that a lot. Why am I doing this? Well, I'll tell you why. Because this beautiful box set comes. This Japanese box set comes with this awesome booklet, right? And why is this booklet so important? Not only does it have awesome Japanese text, but it also has a schematic of the Monroeville Mall, the lower level and the upper level. God bless the Japanese. So I'm just saying.
Is this a laser disc?
Yes. Why are you making fun of me? Yes, it is. And for those of you, I mean, if anyone's asking, so this is the first time I saw both the Argento cut and the can cut. So this is the Argento version that wasn't available, until like it's in that box set. And here's the director's cut, the perfect version of it. And just in case anyone out there is like, what is that? Let me explain what it is. This is a laser disc. And all of my lasers got new sleeves to keep them. And here it is.
You put it in new sleeves?
Yeah. Yeah, all the stuff, all the vinyl covers and all, it had to be perfect. Here's the laser disc. Look at that. That is perfect, my friends. Perfect. And look at this. Look at what kind of shape these covers are in. I mean, this is like...
Looks brand new.
Brand new. It's about 30 years old. So now that has been said, and I've shown you this, and just let me get this. So on a scale of 1 to 4 glasses of wine, the question becomes, Elizabeth.
Wow.
How many glasses of wine would you give Dawn of the Dead? No pressure.
You're lucky that I like this film. Otherwise, I'd be in big trouble.
In Little China.
I think I'd be in big trouble if I didn't like this film. So I'm going to give it 4 glasses.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. Come on, give me a kiss, baby. Come on, one more time. Oh, 4 glasses of wine. Guess what I give this movie? Me too. 4 glasses of wine. 4 glass. Would you like to see my George Romero autograph again?
Sure.
No, it's okay. I just, you know.
No pressure.
No, I got to put this back in its final sleeve. Yeah, I mean, I know it gets a little crazy, but everything has to go back in its vinyl sleeve.
Got to keep the laser discs pristine.
Why are you making fun? Why are you making fun? I mean, I understand, I get it, but
yeah, there's mountains of laser discs around here.
Okay. Oh, wait, I forgot to put this in. I keep this in the lasers.
Uh-oh. Gotta keep it just right.
I do.
Because you never know. If there's a zombie apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
That we definitely need the laser disc.
Because
what are we going to show in the movie theater? We got to have our laser discs.
Well, no, we'll show the new Second Sight disc because the laser disc is only NTSC and frankly the video's garbage. But the container's great. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
We could put the poster up.
Hey, Dieter Bastian's here. He says, damn, that laser disc was shiny. 111. That's a liquor number. 111. So, I guess, wait, hang on. Let's see. The Richard says, happy birthday a week to Thomas Karnacki. And Anonymous says, in regards to EVS's observation the other night, do you think that perhaps the shift in political persuasion could account for folk converting up feels of a post-apocalyptic era? Now, this is really interesting. So the other night, I was on a live stream with Ethan Van Sciver, the comic book artist, who I have a lot of his work here. I'd never been on a stream, but I was talking about my love of the zombie genre, and I like vampires, and he asked me a very interesting question. He said, if you had a choice to go see an A-list zombie movie or an A-list vampire movie, what would you go see? And I actually answered, I said, I thought about it, I'm like, probably a vampire movie because there's probably more to like about that or more depth, and he thought it was really interesting because he made the point that he said Democrats like vampires. Whereas zombie movies, being that they're more the survival genre, appeal more to Republicans. And I thought that was fascinating. I've been thinking about that a lot. And
that makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. And I'm like, kudos to him for that. And you know what? Here's something that's really interesting. People got mad at me for talking to Ethan Van Sciver. You know, they're like, you guys are diametrically opposed politically. But I'm like, I would sit down I could talk to Ethan Van Sciver in a bar for 8 hours about this one single subject. And I'm like, we were talking about politics in the guise of vampire and zombie movies. And I'm like, I'm all for that. And even though and I thought that was fascinating. I'm like, that is fascinating. Good on you, sir. I was really excited for all
Did he do a survey or something?
No, but he talked. He'd been reading an article.
When he asks people, that's
no. He'd read an article about it or something. I thought it was absolutely fascinating. I was like, this is why I tell people that you can be politically opposed to each other, but you can sit down as fans and debate politics in the guise of vampire movies or zombie movies. I thought that was a great thing. So to answer your question, I don't know if it's accounted to it. I've loved zombie. Look, I think zombie movies like this are inherently more political than vampire films, because they're actually dealing. Especially Romero's movies are overtly political. Bless you, babe. Are overtly political, and the zombie apocalypse is absolutely dealing with politics in the way Romero portrays it. So absolutely, but I'll tell you one thing. I would love to sit down with Ethan Van Sciver and talk about this. Wait, we got to go back. And wait, back to SWAC props is, we talked about running zombies, which I didn't like. Anthony Gonzalez says, I know, I said I liked the right one in, but never said it's quotable like Near Dark. Oh, you're eating maggots, Michael. Just kidding. No, that's Lost Boys. That's Lost Boys, just so you know. Running Zombie Throg sends in a tip and says, according to science, the theory zombies run is actually realistic. When other species are reduced to basic animalistic tendencies, they act like the zombies of World War Z. Someone, RMB, didn't watch the extras on that movie.
Interesting.
Hey, let me tell you something. I don't buy that. First of all, I don't buy it. Human beings, when reduced to instinct, we're not predatory animals that run around. I don't think that's necessarily true, but it could be. And by the way, World War Z, the movie, is a bastardization of the book. The book was also set in Romero's world the same way The Walking Dead was. So, Curtis Schultz, Throg, just so you know. Not trying to come down on you, but I'm just saying. Curtis Schultz sends in a super chat and says, have you ever watched Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things? Yes, I have. That's Bob Clark, too, isn't it? My favorite and most scary movie since I saw it at 4 years old.
4 years old?
4 years old.
Whoa.
Yeah. Let's see. Framer Throg says, Rob, you could get glass on both sides and flip to what side you want with that Dawn of the Dead booklet from the Laserdisc. You could. Yeah, you could. But, by the way, Throg got us, we gave away a box set to one of the Post-Geek Singularity because of Throg. So, thank you, Throg, for everything you do for the channel. And he sent me some more stuff to give away on the 600th show.
Oh, that's so great.
Which is now on Sunday.
Plus, he provides us with all of our toilet paper.
Andrew Christie says, where do werewolves sit on the political spectrum, then? They're my favorite.
Oh.
Well, you know, werewolves are always changing their you're either a human or a werewolf. I mean, what are you? Once a month. Gosh, what's that a metaphor for?
Although, is there a full moon once a month?
There is, if you're on a lunar cycle. What cycle are you on?
I don't have a cycle.
Oh, well, if you were a werewolf, would you?
Yes, I would.
You used to have a cycle.
I used to.
Not anymore, though. Were you on a lunar cycle?
Sure.
Francis Dollarhide in Red Dragon was on a lunar cycle. He would slaughter families every time there was a full moon, so he was kind of like a werewolf.
Whoa.
He was the Tooth Fairy.
Oh, that's sick.
That's a different movie. That's actually 2 different movies. Or
Is that
actually
about a serial killer?
3 if you go to the Hannibal TV series. The story of Francis Dollarhide's been told 3 times.
Killers.
Swack Prop says, The Girl with All the Gifts is one of the better zombie movies in recent times. I love The Girl with All the Gifts. We watched that.
We did.
Yes, we did. We watched that movie about the girl in this classroom, and she's in the underground bunker, and they're wondering what's going on with the kids. Trust me, we watched it. But it was a very interesting, more of a parasitic idea of what zombies are. It was more of an organic plant thing.
Why can't I remember it?
Well, I don't know what to tell you, but it was good. I think it's time to end this show.
Yeah.
We've been going on for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
I haven't had any dinner, which is why the wine is getting to me.
Oh.
Which is why I say apocalypse.
Apocalypse. Well, I want to say thank you to all of you for the longest whining about movies that we've ever done.
Really? It's the longest one, period?
2 hours and 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
We must really like zombies.
Somebody does. We really like zombies. I want to thank our moderating staff, beginning with Mike Bodden and, of course, The Richard. And I will play his zombie video on the show. I want to thank Joshua Levesque. I want to thank Bunyan Snipe. I don't know who else is here from our moderating staff. Justin Toner's here. Thank you for being here, sir. Who else is here?
Joshua Levesque.
I did say Joshua Levesque. I want to thank all of you. I want to remind everybody, please go to the WINEning About Movies Facebook page, the Post-Geek Singularity Facebook page, the Fully Articulated Facebook page, which we're going to be doing another episode tomorrow, which is always fun.
Hashtag free the toys.
And also the Let's Get Physical Media show that we do. And we're still going to drop another one with Dieter Bastian. And you can buy merch for this show now.
There's a t-shirt with the ace on it.
There is a t-shirt. Yes. It's
sweatshirt, whatever you want.
You can get whatever you want.
In whatever color you want.
Did you order one?
Not yet.
Oh, well. All right.
What's our next movie?
Our next movie's Tremors.
Tremors.
Our next movie is going to be Tremors on Thursday night. Tremors for its anniversary. And you've never seen it, right?
I have not.
And that is the box set special edition from Arrow, but it's only the Blu-ray because I was an idiot and didn't get the 4K. So anyway, we're going to talk about that on Thursday. You've never seen it, so it's going to be fun.
I have not seen it.
And this will be our segue into the Westerns.
Yes.
Segue into Westerns. Next week will be all Westerns.
I love Westerns.
I know, we're going to do Westerns. We're going to do some good Westerns. Anthony Gonzalez says, Arizona went to the Dems largely because of the Navajo people. No one on this hemisphere understands survival better than the indigenous peoples. Your pal is wrong. Well, I think you're probably right about that. They probably don't, because they were surviving here thousands of years before we were here. And look at how the Europeans mucked it up.
Mucked it up.
Mucked it up. Anyway, on that note, why don't you take us out?
Everyone you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do is listen.
All you have to do is listen. And what else?
Have a better night.
Have a better night. And remember, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Indeed.